Hello and welcome to my little tutorial. My name is Jessica West, and today I want to teach you how to use Word's style feature. The feature itself is found on the home page along with this little symbol right here. This is especially useful when you need to figure out where you've used hard space, where you've hit enter, because publishers and paying markets and editors, we don't really care for these too much, especially your ebook formatters. It's not going to like you very much if you use these. And if you're one of those who tends to put two spaces behind a period, it can also be helpful to identify the extra spaces. As you'll see, it'll add a little dot where you have a space. And you only want one of those. So you can turn that off for now. When you're formatting, we want no tabs. I've put in tabs, so I'm going to go ahead and take them out, and I'm going to show you how to format it so that you have an indent on your first line without using the tab key, because we don't ever want to use the tab key. That causes so many issues when you're formatting an ebook. Okay, the first thing we want to do is we want to select the text. All of the text that's going to be under one formatting. Now let's see what I did here was I clicked here, left my cursor here, scroll down, and I hold down the shift key and click, and it selects just what I want it to select. Alright, and you're going to tell Word which style you want to set it up as, because you have to tell it, you have to give it that direction. It doesn't automatically know which one of these you want to use, and there are several different ones, and they all serve different purposes, and I'll get into that some more a little bit further on. But for now we're going to look at the normal style, because it's typical to use that one for most purposes. So you're going to right click on that and select Modify. And you see here you can change your font. You can change the font size, bold, italics, underline. This changes the color. This is the justification. These first four symbols, this is left, centered, right. And when you use centered, I'm going to go into this some more as well when I do the heading, and I'll show you why it's important to pay special attention to the next step when you're centering text. But we're going to stick with left for now because we're going with normal body text. These next three symbols are the line spacing. You have double spacing, this is 1.5, and this is single. And if you're ever confused about which one you're selecting right here, you can look at your preview pane, or you can look down here and it tells you what you've got. Okay? And these are just some fine-tuning little things, but I don't ever mess with those, so I'm not going to get into that. Once you have this set where you want it, go down here to the lower left-hand corner and click on Format. And then we're going to go to paragraph. You can check out these other options and see, have fun with that, play with that style, and get it how you want it, tweak it to however you prefer to have it. But we're going to focus on paragraph right now so that you can learn how to indent without a tab. And you're just going to look at this indentation section right here and go to Special, click on First Line, and it does everything for you. You don't have to worry about anything else. You can leave Word's default. 0.5 is usually fine. That's pretty standard. If you want to change it, I wouldn't go any less than 3, because any more than that, and it's gonna look weird. It's gonna hardly look like an indent at all. But 5 is pretty typical, so I usually just leave it at the default. For spacing, we don't typically add spaces between paragraphs of the same style. This isn't checked off by default, or it isn't on my program. But I always check for this to make sure I don't add space between paragraphs of the same style, because most paying markets don't want that. If you do want space before or after, instead of hitting enter a bunch of times and putting a bunch of hard stops in a row, because when you're ebook formatting, it's not going to come through anyway. It's going to be totally lost in translation. If you want 120 points of space after a passage, then you're going to have to specify that here in style. And the same thing goes for any purpose, really. If you want space after a line of text, then set it up in styles right here under spacing. And otherwise it'll do 1.5 lines, double, single, whatever you want. We usually do double lines when we're editing or sending to a paying market. They usually want at least 1.5. They want some space in between lines. And it makes it a whole lot easier when you're reading somewhere upwards of 100,000 words per day. Makes things a whole lot easier on the eyes. So we usually set that to double space. Once again, first line indented by 0.5 inches, and that's it. Just click OK, Double check that you have everything here the way you want it, and click OK, and you see it automatically does all that for you. See? Now the one other thing I wanted to show you today is the heading styles. It's important to learn these because these heading styles can make your life so much easier. Let's see. View. We're going to go in the View tab and Navigation pane. I would like to show you something in the Navigation pane. See, this is your heading, the letter. Now this is not here. Sorry about that. This is not here for normal text. You see, you lose that heading, and it's great to have that because when you're making your table of contents, nope, I don't want that. Okay, there we go. You're making your table of contents, and you say this is your first chapter, right? You're going to go to Insert, and you want to put a link in here. Now you're going to a place in this document, and you see this right here? It automatically builds your bookmarks for you. You don't have to put your bookmarks in. You can go in and manually enter a bookmark here for each chapter heading, but you don't have to. If you learn how to use word styles, it does half of the work, at least half of the work for you. So we definitely want to learn how to use the styles. Now the one last thing I wanted to mention is centered styles. If you're going to go up here, let's say, okay, this is title. Say we want to center this, okay? Very easy to do. We just center. Bam, done, right? I don't know. Look at that. It looks kind of off. Does that look centered to you? It's kind of hard to tell, but it's probably not perfectly centered. Let's check something and see. Go to Format, Paragraph, and you see where you have this first line indented? You want to take that off, because if you want it to be centered, you don't want it indented at all. See, that looks much better. It looks like it's actually centered of the page instead of a little off to the right. So anytime you use centered styles, make sure you turn off the first line indent. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, well, you probably know where to reach me if you're listening to this tutorial or watching this tutorial. If not, you can just Google West One Jess. I'm pretty much everywhere. Just give me a holler if you need anything. Thanks for listening.